1 second. Okay. All right, so we'll get started. So first off, again, looking at the broad market, S&P basically retesting the prior all-time high that I don't think any of us really saw coming. Again, this little Mickey Mouse flag in the short term, we kind of have to expect this to push a little bit higher. We're in this new, 5% range between 470 and 450 in the SPY. And then we have like this little, very tiny pivot under this 465 area, which again, I wouldn't expect to be anything significant, but we can just keep an eye on that area for now. Sector-wise, we saw Staples leading the sectors, being the first one to really break out with some momentum. We saw the same with the REIT names kind of pushing up through their prior all-time high, but again, kind of quickly coming back, and that's kind of reminding us of that overall retest, where as we run up to the retest or that prior high, it all often looks amazing, looks like we're continuing higher, but then we typically lose some momentum up here after the run-ups that we've seen, and that's what we're seeing with the REITs, and we'll see today with Consumer Staples if they're going to continue this breakout higher or if they're going to kind of follow suit with the REITs, and this might be like their shorter term top for the time being. Financials still look very good in this, still in the middle of this base, but I think up through this 98 in time, and then up through that 102 in time. I think these, this sector isn't too extended relative to some of the other ones. Favoriting is probably this Goldman still up through that 420 in time, and then a couple individual names that I'm still keeping an eye on. We have this GD YN that's still in this flag. Probably got in a little bit too early, but I'll still look to add up to 42 in time, just keeping a stop versus 36. Really, a stop is probably versus 34, but keeping it here for now. Zebra more than likely will probably get traded into this name today. Just a very nice, bull flag, everything we want to look for, versus this little, 600, 590 pivot for now. WDC is still setting up. I don't really expect it to go this week, but up through this 60 in time. I want to be involved as it kind of moves out of the base that it's been in for the last few months now, and eventually work its way back up into those 70 area. eBay could be a short or long, just here near support. Looking to buy up through 68 versus 65. And on the flip side, if the guys looking short, this could be a textbook short down through 65 if there isn't much, buying up to that 68 area. PAYC continues to trade and remind me of Nike post its earnings, had that initial run up, completely faded the entire move, shook, kind of that earnings day low out, and then had that run up right back to highs. And PAYC just looking very similar chart wise. It had that initial run up, it completely faded the entire move, it shook out that earnings day low. Again, it looks horrible right now, but just as Nike looked very horrible in that same kind of chart position. So keeping an eye on this to look to buy up through 440 and probably that 460, but just have to be aware that, again, buying up to 440 versus really 400 is 10% risk. So I'm not going to go super heavy in this. I'll be very light to start, and just know that this will probably take, it took 2 months for it to pull in. It probably would take the same amount of time if it's going to work its way back to those highs. A few other ones, we have this TBI. You can see this nice little base that's been forming here. 28 versus 25 for now. So this looks like one that we can kind of buy through 28, you could buy for 30. So one to keep an eye on. Last few ones with this DRVN, recent IPO. The only thing is 33 probably was the entry, but given these it's holding this 32 here, that it's just too tight in this range. And buy 32 versus 33, 33 versus 32. So I'm just going to give it a little bit more room and wait for that half area. And let's see, we got the last two. We got PWR, nice little earnings flag up here. Keeping on this 118, 120, 124 area. Keep an eye on those spots versus 110 for now. And lastly is this box. Again, we were kind of expecting somewhat of a shakeout down through these 25, 50, 26 area, but again, only focused really on the entry up through 27 and then having a stop versus that pivot low when this thing is actually ready to go. So it seems like, again, the market might feel extended, but there still is some individual names that are setting up because, again, we're going to have Apple and Amazon and a lot of these bigger tech names really moving the broad market, making it seem extended, but when it's really just a handful of names. So when you do scan and look at, the NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500, you start looking through some of the other names, there is some setups out there. You just have to be very picky with what you're looking at. So that's, kind of what I'm looking at. Heaven, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, sure. My Wi-Fi is down, so it's a little tough. But first of all, happy belated birthday, Ben. And then other than that, I'm mostly just looking at some weekly charts. I'm not too eager to jump into anything, especially with the Monday morning gap up. So I'm just sitting on my hands. One of my favorite charts, though, is this Haywire, HAYW. They have some pretty good earnings numbers over the last few quarters, as well as sales. And I like that weekly chart coming back up to that major resistance level. So watching that one set up, I think the price is like 26. I can't pull up my charts right now, but yeah, that 26 level. I also really like Snow. I think I really nice big chart as well. Really sales over the last few quarters too. And you actually mentioned Nike as a comparable, but I like the chart as well. I think it's a nice high and tight flag. The weekly chart looks really good. And then I got a few others on my list, but I'm pretty patient right now. I'm not really eager to put on any risk. I took a couple test trades last week, and the results are telling me that it's kind of still a hands-off time. So I'm just I'll continue to do these test trades and see how things go. And once I start seeing some wins stack up, that's when I'll really start to push it again.
Like it. And that was even like when you asked me the other day about, there was one of the names that you got in that we were talking about, and I missed the entry. And very common for me, even for me with like this PDYN, very light in it, like, not going super heavy, anything, just kind of feeling the water, testing the waters a little bit. So definitely in that same camp, but just much less risk overall in these setups, but just to kind of get back into the swing of things. So if anyone else have any other names you want to go over?
Hey, Ben, it's Joe. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
Great, thanks. Kind of like what Heaven was saying, I've got a bunch of names that are starting to flag, which will make nice moves in the future. Like the first one is CMP. Had those 3 monster days, and now it's flagging out. Definitely something to keep on the radar here for when we have a better market. Let me see here.
Yeah, I think the name is CNP.
C, yeah. C.
Oh, C. Okay.
P.
I had CMP.
You were wondering for a minute there, weren't you?
I was like, oh, well, I'll let you finish, but
yeah. So you can see that monster run, and it's just starting to really flag out. Something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Right now, the way it looks, I have an entry of 328 with a stop of below 27. So dollar risk on that. You know what? That's probably the best one I have right now. But just keeping my eye on things, making sure that we when I put some risk on it, really makes sense, as opposed to just really trying to get in for getting in sake. I've lost a ton through the past trying to do that. So always thing I'm working on is trying to limit my downside on my trades.
Like it. Like it a lot. All right, let's see. So I know I saw Tim here. He posted a bunch of names. I'll try to quickly go through them. With this Starbucks up through this 117. Get this PKI through 192. Looks very nice. Zebra, we already went over. Fang, probably one of the strongest kind of energy names out there. Up to that 115, 116 area. EXPD is looking through, I guess this 133. ENM. This one, maybe just a little bit extended relative to kind of the run up it's had. So this one may be a pass. The ones look pretty good so far. MCO, very tight here up to this 400. You have to just be aware that this 4 rate's probably going to be the best it's going to get to in the short term. Aflac, we've been watching this. Flickshake's going to bust my balls this one. We've been watching this thing for a while, but it is pretty tough up here to be buying 58, even though this is like kind of the technical area, when you have to give this thing versus 53 area, and just seeing like kind of the moves this thing kind of has. It has these few dollar run-ups, but it's not like this is going to be a name that's going to go from 60 to 80 in a couple of weeks. It's just more of kind of a lower beta type of name. So it's kind of hard to initiate a position given the run-up it's had. If this was to, kind of go sideways a little bit more, again, more wishful thinking than anything, but if it can kind of stay in this area here, you can risk, $1 or $2 in it for up to 58 versus buying 58 versus 53. Definitely looks good macro wise, but I don't know if we want to really give it the $4 that we need. So EQR looks great. Another REIT name, this one looks phenomenal. NVT. MT, another great chart up through this 38 area, verse 37, SPGI. Through 476 again. Tim got a lot of good charts. All look pretty good. They are for 46. So this KR through 46 is a little tough because it's like you kind of expected to get back to this retest, like this 48 area. So it's just a little hard to come in here. Like it more likely up to 46 is more likely to go to 48, but I don't know if you're going to really want to be buying 48 when the real out is going to be 42 and your best case kind of short term is only going to be $2 higher. You probably would rather let it see it retest that 48 and then start to flag out tighter and be in for that bigger move through 48 than kind of getting in while the pattern is still kind of developing. Let's see, adding more. Yeah, so this is somewhat similar actually to like this KR where he was trying to get in KR like 46 is like kind of like this area where it just still needs to kind of like retest that prior high and kind of pull back in and still kind of set up. But this love as well probably is going to still need a little bit of time, just given 60 to 80. That's a pretty big run up pretty quickly, so it might take some time to consolidate. We went over snow. And then these other two, PUBM, through 40, 42 looks good. 42, 40, 44, those seem to be the spots in this. Definitely one to on the radar. And then IRGN through 42. This looks great. This is like, these are the bases that you really can get paid on. Just they will, they do definitely take some time. You can see it's been almost a year now. It's been in this base. So eventually, once it can kind of clear this 42, 44 area, it's pretty, we would expect this run up back to this 54 area. So a lot of good charts mentioned in here. That's all the names I mentioned in this little chat in here. I'll see EFX. So Jose, are you in the FX or?
No, I'm not. It's something else that I'm just quick scanning through. I was looking at with that nice little flag there coming up.
Okay. I mean, again, top right, you definitely would want to focus on names that are up here versus a name that's, bottom right. But it just, right now, it's like you're almost kind of just blindly buying a new all-time high versus like 290. So not, like I would, if you were going to do anything and you were going to buy in here versus a Lowe's, I would go with this one, but there's really nothing much just yet. I think you just need to give it a little bit more time than that random, I'm buying 296 versus 290 and hoping it continues higher, because if it gets one of these, like the, days like this where it just blows through 290 and it's back and it's 275, it's just probably a little just too extended. If you were buying up to, and it's, even if you're like buying here, like up to 292 and you're in it now, it's a little different than just trying to kind of get in here, expecting that continuation.
Sounds good.
But still good. Just keep focusing on the top right. We just want to find something a little more defined. All right, Kush, I see you in here, and I know you probably have 45 names you want to go over. You want to go over a couple? Nope. All right. Anybody else have anything you want to look over?
Yeah, I have a few names. They're not the best like moving type of names, but I made a scan of every name that was above the 50 and 200 day moving average, and those that set it up, I have AA.
What was it?
AA, double A.
Oh, AA.
Yeah.
Alcoa, oh my God.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting name, but it's setting up near highs. I got ABB with the tight flag near highs too.
ABB?
ABB, yeah. Double inside there, right there. I got WHR, Whirlpool, giving us a tight little flag there. And the last one is NUE, Nucor Corporation, NUE. So a couple of names that are setting up there. Yeah, they're the strongest names. I mean, not every name is above the 50 and 200 moving average right now, so gives you an idea.
For you guys are a little newer, Alcoa used to be the name that would kick off earnings season. That was like, everyone always was hyped about Alcoa's earnings a couple of, many years ago. And now it's just, I don't think we've talked about Alcoa in probably 4 or 5 years in the chat. But interesting to see that it is setting up, and you can see this has been a battle area since 2018. So looks good. Some good charts there, Eric. All right. Anybody else?
I got some names.
Yeah. Kusha, you're up. What are you looking at?
Oh, I got DEN through 85.5.
DEN?
Yes, Denbury. DEN.
Okay. Oh, 40. I got you. 45.5. Okay.
No. 85. 85.5. You're looking at a different stock.
What's the ticker?
DEN. There's multiple. So.
Oh, here we go.
Up through 85.5.
Verse like that 82.
And after that, yep, I plan to open range break it, but for now, that's the pivot 82.
Okay. What else?
Another name I got is this TTD. I'm watching the 100 level. Keeping my eye on it. But that's in time, so I'll let it set up for now. And another name I'm keeping my eye on is MP up through 50.
Nice.
I have another one. This is one of my favorites. CHK up through 65. And I don't know if you guys already went over this one, but Snell up through 375.
Nice. CHK is interesting because I gotta look into this one more. They used to be, it looks like they came back out this year. Maybe see what they did with their prior stock that same used to trade on there. But yeah, Kosher, good job. Using good charts in here. All right. All right, guys. Any last charts you guys want to go over? All right. That's it for this week, guys. Good luck. And I'll talk to you guys in the chat.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, everyone.